Yo, what's going on, guys? csgo here, and yes, I am still alive, sadly, and yeah, that's pretty much it for my intro. Well, anyways, I've seen a lot of YouTube videos about how to get out of silver, and I'm gonna be honest, most of them are kind of dog shit. You know, they might have some good tips, but the problem is, nobody's actually gonna get out of silver watching these because nobody's gonna fucking sit through 40 different things that you need to work on. It's just really not it's something that people are actually gonna take to heart, and yeah, they just kind of lose you. You just kind of forget about it. So I'm gonna try and keep it pretty concise for you guys, and I'm gonna try and make sure that you all know the easy way to get out of silver. So go ahead and stay tuned for that. Now, the first thing you want to start with is your aim. You want to make sure that your aim is just decent. It doesn't have to be very good considering you're in silver, it just has to be decent. So a couple things I can suggest just right off the bat, and these are pretty much 90% of what it takes to have good aim, at least in silver. Just make sure that your sensitivity is low. Even if it feels weird for the first few hours, trust me, it's worth it. If you're unsure where to or how low to go, just look up some pro sensitivities. Personally, I have like 1.7 sensitivity with like 400 dpi, but you're free to choose when it comes to that. And the other thing is just keep your crosshair at head height. You don't understand how much that actually helps you aim, and that's pretty much it when it comes to aim. Just play some community deathmatch from time to time, and you should be on par with, or if not better than other silvers. And the rest of your aim just comes from positioning. So when you're playing the game, don't think about nothing. Make sure you're actually thinking about what your opponents might be doing. Try and put yourself in their position. Of course, it's hard to predict silvers, but go ahead and just try and outsmart them if you can. But of course, as long as your aim's decent, you can win most of your fights, so it's not a huge deal either way. And with that out of the way, it gets pretty easy. What you want to do next is just make sure that the things you're doing, they're actually smart. And this is outside of the game, this isn't inside of the actual game. So you want to make sure you're choosing your maps wisely. You don't want to choose maps that you're bad at, even if you think it makes you a more well-rounded player overall. If your only goal is to get out of silver, then just choose maps you're good at. Don't choose Vertigo if you're bad at Vertigo. Don't choose Mirage if you're bad at Mirage. Stick to the maps you're best at. Might sound like some bullshit or like a pussy move, but trust me, it will do wonders for you, and it'll help you get out of silver. And another good choice to make is choosing what weapons you're going to use. And a lot of times weapons are situational, but if you know you're absolutely terrible with one weapon, then just don't use it. Even if it's meta, don't use the AK if you're horrible with the AK. And if you have to, use the SG, use the AUG, they're good weapons. If you really have to resort to it, go ahead and use that auto sniper. Just use whatever will help you win the round, and yeah, that makes a hell of a difference as well. A lot of silvers overlook it. They can't swallow their pride, and they have to use an AK or an AWP. It's not always the best choice, and like I said, they're quite situational, so make sure you're making the right decision when possible. And pretty much the last thing that you actually need to work on is just your interactions with your teammates. No, I'm not like some charismatic guy, but one thing you can do to your teammates, especially in silver, is just be nice to them. And you don't have to kiss their asses, but just make sure that you don't give them any form of criticism, because they do not take it well. At least in my experience when I'm smurfing and stuff, people do not respond well to criticism at all. And sure, some may, but it's best not to take your chances, because if they get offended, which a lot of silvers do, they tend to start throwing, they tend to just not care anymore, and they just hold a grudge against you for the rest of the game. And of course, you don't really want that if the goal is to win, so just make sure that you keep them happy. Don't talk too much either, but like I said, just make sure you're not on their bad side, and just pretty much only use your mic to give callouts, and occasionally, you can say nice shot or something, but like I said, don't kiss their asses either, or else they'll just think you're a fucking weirdo. Yeah. And so the last thing that will help you get out of silver, and this is kind of optional, and this is kind of tough, is getting your trust factor up. And some of you might actually have good trust factor if you have quite a few hours. It won't be that difficult of an ordeal when it comes to trust factor, but some people, and I don't even know how, will get in the bottom tier of trust factor. And I've had that before on some of my Smurf accounts, and you'll know when you're in there. You'll get a lot of players under level 15, no service badges, no nothing, a lot of new accounts, and a lot of cheaters, a lot of Smurfs, a lot of fishy figures, and there's two options. You can try and play a lot and get out of that trust factor, but chances are it's really not going to help that much. So what you're going to want to do is just invest in a new CSGO account, or you could play non-prime, but that's no fun, is it? So yeah, go ahead and if you can, get a new CSGO account, unless you want to try and grind out a low trust, but let me tell you, it's quite difficult, and it might not be worth your time. You might be wasting your time there. So if you really want to get out of silver, make sure your account has at least decent trust factor, and beyond that, there's really not much you need to do. So just keep these few things in mind, and yeah, you should be out of silver pretty soon. Personally, I've gotten countless Smurf accounts out of silver. It's just pretty easy once you just get your aim down pat, and you just learn how to make your teammates happy, and you make smart decisions. So good luck, have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.